Among these memories, he had forged many more.
Some just eating sandwiches with his best friends, or playing tag with him obviously being the fastest, or when the class got to show off all their cool stuff at show and tell. Before he knew it, the quite not so intelligent young boy had made a home at the school.
Then something happened. He moved houses and he moved schools.
He was now in a fresh new environment. Departing from his home once again, he had entered this world of established friendships and stories. People who had been carrying beef for years. Romances with twists and turns that had already taken place. From the moment he entered this new school, he knew the third grade was going to be quite the hurdle to overcome.
As an outsider, he didn't feel comfortable talking at first. However, he met these two titans of kids whose heights had dispelled any disillusion that he was taught. And one of the kids had this special rule that every time the boy shrugged or said I don't know to a question to avoid talking, he would mark it as a strike. And once the boy had 3 strikes, he would get to punch him in the shoulder. Did this count as bullying? Yes. However, did it help the boy become more comfortable talking? Also yes. Would I advise this with your friends? No.
These titans of children would eventually go to become the young boy's best friend. And from then on, the boy had now come to the conclusion that while the third grade was going to be a hurdle, it was going to be a fun one. As the sun rose and fell, the boy got to witness the quite spectacular, hectic, and all-around fun nature of the school. The school was split up into 4 houses to incentivize competition. So there were a bunch of school competitions where houses would go head-to-head, from school Olympics to math tournaments, and there was even a song performance competition.
Did the boys' house end up winning any of those competitions? No one will ever know. Eventually, one day, a teacher entered the boys' class and started to call upon some students to follow him. As the teacher called on students, the boy noticed something. All the students that were called on had something in common. They were the top of the class, whether it be academically or physically or mathematically or astronomically or illy. Anything that ends with illy, really. So he had concluded the school must have been working on some public showcase or need a team of the best to solve some Avengers level threat. Whatever it was, the best of the best were needed.
Then the boy's name was called. In that moment, out of the millions of thoughts that usually ran through the boy's head, the only one that stood out was,
what do we do to mess up this bad?
However, after following the teacher who refused to give context, it was found out that the boy and his peers were chosen to be prefects. For those who don't know what a prefect is, it's basically given to a senior who's meant to set expectations for the school and also help run the school as well. They had given the boy a badge. That's not the badge, but for those who have never seen a badge, this is what a badge looks like. But they had given the boy a badge, making one of his favorites among the many roles he would soon take in his life.
After 3 long years, something had happened. He graduated elementary school and went on to the secondary side of the school. The classes were now different, the status quo changed, but this time it wasn't so bad. It was really just mixing up the old classes. So the boy got to befriend people he had known for years. During this time, the boy had gone on many journeys, met new people, acquired a new best friend, aspired to be head boy, essentially the school president.
He had also gotten to experience some major events. You see, the school had this bonfire where they invite the whole school population and plus ones to come enjoy a big bonfire at nighttime with some games, amazing food, snack. I'm sorry, the food. The food was the boys' main reason for coming. But food, face painting, haunted houses, those were also really fun for the boy. It just was a night of fun and terror. Another interesting thing about the school is that they required you to take a drama class.
And the boy, being the boy, decided that although he had no interest in being an actor, he was going to be the best actor there was. So he would pour everything he had into the class. One of the most evident times of this was when him and his best friend had to make a scene together.
One of their favorite parts about the movies they watched was the action scenes. And them being the dumb 12-year-olds they were, they understand the concepts such as choreographed scenes or a stunt double. So what they would do is that they'll hit each other with their full force. So for example, the boy's best friend, the really tall one, would punch him, and the boy with the palm of his mighty hand would slap his back with all his power, and then it just kept on going from that. And if it hurt, good, because that's how they knew they were doing their job. Which, looking back, it did kind of work, because his teacher would always compliment him how good of an actor he was and would advise him to become an actor. And that kind of led to him joining the school's production of Sync, but Nigerian version. So that was nice. The Nigerian version. That's my bad. I was caught slipping as a prefect. I can have that. Some expectations and whatnot. So forgive me for my mistake.
And it was in the production he learned the basics of theater and experienced boarding school, because for Tech Week, the directors advised students to stay in the hostel.
For those wondering what Tech Week is, it's basically the crew's favorite week, and anyone who disagrees with that is a liar whose pants happen to be on fire. Anyways, Tech Week is essentially where you see if all technical aspects of the play is working. So the sound, the lights, the speakers, transitioning scenes. So like that's where Run Crew can see their stuff. It's basically when the actual play, besides the acting and costumes, where all of that comes into play. Good choice of words, I know. The boy also got to feel the despair of having one of your 3 scenes cut from the play. To close off the year on its achievements, the school had a great big carnival known as Fun Day.
It had games, food, rides, raffles, haunted houses, and even more food.
While my words don't do it justice, it was a day of constant joy, sweat, financially immature decisions, and the formation of great memories. Beyond the fun days and the bonfires, the school really started to become this home for the boy. It was a place where all the unique aspects of the boy felt like they meshed together with an environment for once. So it was really interesting. It was a key moment, at least for the boy, was when he had to do a debate in his health class, where he had to basically defend why soda isn't necessarily bad for people. And his whole argument was like, it's not the soda that makes the man, it's the man that makes the soda. And his health teacher, even though that's kind of a shaky argument, he performed in a really great way. And his health teacher told him he was really great at speech. And for someone who had speech delay, that really meant a lot to the kid, and it affected him in ways you guys will later see. Nonetheless, this school that gave this boy this environment where his uniqueness was met with a unique world was really starting to come up. Like, for example, he was going to become the head boy. He won 2nd place in the sports day, making a comeback from what happened in the sports day in his elementary school, which I shall not talk about.
He was going to do a bunch of things, whether it be getting 1st place in his race, asking out his crush, improving his acting, or starting his very own comic book.
However, around the end of year 7, 6th grade, the boy took a walk with his father, and his father asked him an intriguing question.
What do you think about moving back to America?
So long he had hated his situation and his displacement from his home, yet he forgot when it was that hate became love.
He didn't know whether to fulfill an old desire of his younger self, or to walk this path he had found himself on. Stuck in between 2 options, he did what the boy would most likely do, and chose the 3rd one. Neither to fight for the past or stick with the present, but say hello to the future.
So the boy told his father that he would like to move to America. In the end, the decision was made to move back. The boy had wrapped up his loose ends, telling certain people certain things, and he had prepared not to go back to where he once began, but to an uncharted land with a future he could not foresee, leaving his friends, his family, his favorite foods, and his home behind. It was a really good scene. I think it was, at least. I don't see why we cut it. It was very integral to the plot, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, very integral to the plot.